So in today's video, I'm going to be going over how to insert data into the TFC Excel program for CK Family Services. The first thing you're going to want to do is go to your Groups tab. You might have to search for it down here and scroll. I have changed everybody's names for confidentiality reasons. As you can see, that each month is separated into rows of 15. So for each month you have an option of having 8 facilitators, and each facilitator can have up to 15 kids. Okay, ideally you want it less than 10, but this is just maximum allowed 15. If I'm facilitator B, I'm going to want to insert all of my kids' names, so if I have 10 kids, I'm going to want to do that. If I end up having a new kid, I'll just input their name here. Okay. Now, a lot of these are highlighted different colors. You can see which color it corresponds to. So if a child is new, you're highlighted in blue. I'm going to highlight it in blue. Okay. If a child is leaving the program, so for facilitator F, they entered their kids and their child left the program. So I'm going to highlight it red. If they are transfer, highlight it yellow. So for example, child 42 is a transfer for facilitator F in April, so if I look in the previous month, I see that child 42 was with facilitator G last month. So 42 for G in March, but in April gets transferred to facilitator F. If a cell is highlighted in orange, that means that they not only transferred, but they also left the program that month. Purple means that they are leaving the program that month, but then they're also new. So they happen to enter and leave within the same month. So that covers the colors right here. Next, what I'm going to look at is I'm going to look at my child list. So what this does is columns L through T. You have the child's name, their CKID number that you're going to enter, start date, referral date for CFTM, and initial condition. And so for these columns, these are going to be the same for every month, so it's really important that you get it right here. Every name should be here only once, and then you shouldn't have to change anything anymore. Unless that child has a new behavior later. Okay? So at first they might not have a second initial condition, but later on they might develop acting out. But it should stay the same once you have that. Once you have first and second condition. It's not going to change. Okay? After you make sure that everything's correct in the Groups tab, you're going to go to that corresponding month that you're looking at. One way to kind of keep track is just to select which month you're looking at. It doesn't really do anything code-wise. It's just if I know that, oh, I'm in the month of April and I want to insert April's data, then I just select April. Now I'm going to go to that April tab. And I'm going to start inserting that information. Notice how everything in gray that you can't click on it, these are just formulas and these are calculated from the Groups tab. So whatever is in the Groups tab, that's going to be inserted here. So notice that for the first 15 rows of April, it's referring to the first column in the April month section. In the second section of April, it's referring to the second column of the April information. So it's really important that you get the Groups tab right. Okay? Now, if I am facilitator B, and I'm trying to insert the information here, I'm going to look at everything that's not in gray and I'm just going to enter that information. Okay, so kind of like before, except the orders maybe slightly different. You don't have to insert the baseline for them anymore, but you still have to insert that current. Okay? But notice here, when I get to child 100, I don't see their information. I don't see their CKID number, start date, initial condition, baselines. I don't see that information, and so I know that something's off. Something's not right in the Groups tab, so I must have inputted something wrong. If I go back to the Groups tab, I see that I have a child 100 here, but when I scroll over and I look through the list, I don't have a child 100 reference. So I need to fix that. So I'm going to type in child 100. Okay? I'm going to insert their CKID number, date that they entered the program, so it's April, so let's say they entered that date, referral date, first CFTM date, and then I'm going to give them the initial condition that they have. So for April, let's say I might not know, but let's say that I can already tell with their foster family that they're having issues with defiance, baseline 10 per week, and then their second initial condition we're not going to measure. Okay, so we're good there. Now, ideally, now that I have child 100 in the list, when I go back, that information should be updated. But notice how it's still blank. Right here, if I have child 100 in the list, that means I probably inserted it wrong. So notice here how there's no space. So I need a space right there, just so it's typed exactly the same as it was in over here. These guys need to match or that information will not be referenced. Now when I go back, oh look, all that information is inserted. So if this was blank, it could either be you were missing a space in between the first and last name, or you added a space after the last name. That's really important that you guys aren't messing up the typing. Make sure you're typing the same thing every month. Okay, so again, just answer those questions. Left program, yes or no. If they left, enter the date. And just continue to answer those questions. Once you completed answering the questions for every kid, you're done. And that's it. And you can just hit save and then send it. If you are supervising and you're needing to collect the data from each facilitator, then we're going to go over that next. So now we're going to go over what we need to do if we want to insert data from a specific facilitator into our master sheet. So first thing you're going to do is you're going to go to your email, look for the sheet that you need to download. So I found the email and the specific facilitator sent it to me, so I'm going to right click and click save. I'm going to save it where I want to save it. I'm doing May. So I'm going to name it TFC corresponding month and then the facilitator's name. Okay, I'm going to hit save. Now I'm going to go to that folder. Go to May, find that file I just saved, double click. Okay, when it opens, hit enable editing. Enable content, and then go to your groups tab. Okay. We want to make sure that whatever they entered for their name in that first column, that we have that. So I'm going to select this, copy, and then I'm going to go back to my master sheet. Go to the groups tab and then just paste that same information. Okay. Ideally, we should have we should set this up before we send it out to them. But this is just an example. Now what I need to do is I need to make sure that in my list, if they have a new kid, I need to add that into my list. So I see that child 100 isn't in my list, so they must have been a new kid, and I'm going to enter child 100. I'm then going to enter whatever information that they have. So I'm going to go back to their sheet, look what they inserted, and then just copy that. So I'm going to copy CKD number to their second baseline. Again, going back to my master sheet, and just going to hit paste. Okay, if that happens, we don't want that to happen. So I'm going to hit yes to all, but then I'm going to hit undo. So to prevent that from happening, you can just manually type whatever they had in there, or you can right click, hit paste, and then do values. Okay, and so that's it. Looks like everything's good. If they're new, I want to highlight it. I don't have to, but it just kind of helps. So highlight that new child, and then let's import their information from the specific month. So we're looking at May, so I'm going to go to May, and now I'm going to go back to their sheet and go to May, and then I'm just going to copy that information that they have. So I'm copying their section. I'm going to right click, copy, or Control C. Gonna go back to my master sheet, and then when I paste it, I'm gonna right click and just do values again. Okay, and that's it. And now we just inserted the information for that specific facilitator. So you're gonna do that for all the facilitators. If there's 8, do it for 8 facilitators, if just depending on whichever. But ideally, you won't have to change any of this because you'll be sending this out to them. The only reason you might have to change it when you're inserting the data again is if a new kid came. So yes, that pretty much summarizes everything of what you guys need to do, and I hope this helps.